Welcome to the Tony the Prophet channel for the championship week. Only 3 games left. Got a little bit of a head cold, but I want to get this out anyways. And again, I always appreciate the feedback at the site. Some people are getting on me from picking Detroit. I don't know how you don't pick Detroit, given the circumstances. Here you had a well-rested team playing at home against a rookie quarterback. And as it came down, their secondary was there. Defense was decimated. They've had, 17, 21 people on IR, 6 starters on defense on IR, and it finally caught up to them against a good team. And, they got a little bit desperate. Ben Johnson calling a bomb thrown by receiver Jameson Williams. Just a terrible play. It gets intercepted. All 4 teams that won last weekend had no turnovers. And that's, there's more teams that lose games than teams that actually win games. They get the game handed to them. In the Bills game, Baltimore, the Ravens had bad turnovers, the pick, and then the fumble by Lamar, which was just terrible. But anyways, so no, I appreciate it. That's great. But I just still think that's the right pick. But Daniels may be the best rookie quarterback ever. And we're seeing how great he is. But given that, I'm still going with the Eagles. On the latest 6, they should win by 7 to 10 points. You got a great factor here. You got the 4th road game in a row for the Commanders, and the Eagles have their 5th home game, and they won them all. Now, they played back on 12-22. That was the game Hurts got hurt early in the game. And then Washington came back to win that game, 36 to 33. But you take out that game, they haven't lost a game since 12-29. So, they won, they're 15-3, and they won a ton of games. So, and very simple key to this game. Can the Commanders stop Barkley and the Philadelphia running game? If they can't, it's game over. His prop is set at 130 yards, 127 yards. They can't make it high enough. It's the highest prop we've seen all year, and he'll probably go over it. But I wouldn't bet it. I'd stay away from it. That's just crazy. I'd take the under if anything. Like I said, he could go over it, but I'm not going to bet my money. They've just pushed it over the edge. So, anyways. Philly 15-3 straight up, 10-1 home straight up, 12-7 against the spread, and then Washington 14-5, 12-6-1 against the spread, 5-4 away and 1. So they actually played better on at home, as I said about the run game, Philly #1 time on the field with the run game over 32 minutes a game. With the rookie corners, they only give up 100, and the rest of the defense playing well. They only give up 175 yards a game. And Philly, the #2 rush yards in the NFL with 179 yards a game. So they have this tremendous rush defense. Hurts doesn't have to do a lot, throw 20 times. And And as far as Philly goes, they'll try to beat them with the short pass. You've seen Eckler and Ertz and guys like that. They have one weapon, McLaurin. So that's what makes this Daniels run even more amazing. It's just amazing that he's done so well. And with another draft and free agents, this Washington is going to be a good team. But we're looking at it tomorrow. They've had to use, like I said, Eckler in the pass game. I'm betting over his 25 yards receiving. Ertz, old tight end. Zacchaeus doesn't have a good matchup in this one. But, you got wide receivers, 2, 3s, 4s, and 5s that he's, Dyami Brown, I don't think he has a good matchup. I'm going to play his under. I think it's like 40.5 yards. But those other guys have decent matchups. So, and I think Eckler will go over his. It's like 2 or 3 weeks in a row he's been receiving. But anyways, I have it Philly 31-24, 31-21 in that range. And I think Philly, again, better team at home. Let's see if Daniels can beat them. But Um, as long as under a touchdown, I'm happy to go with that. And then we have the next game, which is probably the best game of the year. It's probably going to be better than the Super Bowl. Got the 16-2 Kansas City Chiefs versus the 15-4, excuse me, Buffalo Bills that have been on a roll. And you have the Chiefs. I'm probably going to take Buffalo with the points. It was as high as 2.5. I think the way I'm really going to play it, I want to tease Buffalo up to 7.5, and I want to tease the over down to 42.5. I think there'll be points scored in this game, and if the Bills are running the ball with a lot of time of possession with Cook and everybody, they certainly have other guys that can run, Davis and Ty Johnson in the pass game. Take some time off the clock. But let's get back to the Chiefs. That may be an insane pick because they don't lose at home and they have the refs on their side. So, I mean, I'm sure the NFL isn't rigged, but they put Clete Blakeman in here. Now, Clete Blakeman, I've been following this guy for a long time. He's a terrible ref, okay? And again, I don't know how he gets graded to get here. In 2024, he called the most penalties. Sorry, my cold. He gets paid by the flag. He had 289 penalties flagged in 16 games. He had 252 accepted for 2,128 yards. I keep tabs on all these guys. I call them, I'm diverting here, the sucky seven. There's 7 bad refs in the league, and they decide the outcome of the game sometime. So you have him in there helping out Kansas City. And then we have prima facie evidence here that the Chiefs, since, and I'm reading this off my phone, this was on the He Heard, and I believe it's also on ESPN Bet. They had these exact same figures, okay? Playoff penalties called since 2021. The Chiefs had 36 against them. The opponents have 66. Penalty yards, Chiefs 319, opponents 541. More penalties out of 10 games. The opponents have had more penalties called against them in 10 games, and the Chiefs 0. And the only time in those 10 games that the Chiefs actually had more penalty yards once. They had less penalties, but more penalty yards, 1 out of 10 times. So that's a very interesting trend. That doesn't happen by accident. I'll just leave it there. I don't think, like I said, that things are rigged, but they're certainly getting a helping hand. They have the thumb on the scale for the Chiefs at home. And I think we all know why. And I don't have to go into that. So you're smart enough to figure that out. But anyways, let's get into the game. Now, Buffalo beat them the last time, 30-21. Pretty decent, convincing win. And then the games was beyond that were close. Buffalo 20-17, Buffalo 24-20. Problem is that Buffalo has not won in the playoffs. The Bills are 0-3 versus Kansas City. And the big secret here, Buffalo can control the game, run the ball. They ran for 279 yards the first 2 weeks of the playoffs, so they have the advantage there. And the defense has not given up a lot of points. If you take a look at their games, other than they gave up 14 points this regular season, not last week, but they gave up 14 points and then 38 against Denver when nobody played. And then 10, 19, 7, 17, 17. So the defense have been playing well. Buffalo 15-4, 12-7 against the spread, 5-4 away, 10-4 the last 14. Kansas City, so Buffalo's 10-0 at home. Kansas City's 9-0 at home. But against the spread, they're 7-10-1. And home, they're 3-6 against the spread. So again, I think 3-9 against the spread the last 12. So I think Buffalo has the edge. But again, you see Mahomes time after time at home. The games are close, and somehow they pull it out at the end a miracle. You know, you had Tyler Bass missed a kick last time they played in the playoffs. It was 24-27. So, but I'm going to call this Buffalo 27-24. Maybe making a mistake. It's hard to go against the Chiefs. And if the Chiefs win, I'll guarantee it'll be 28-27, 31-30. They'll win by a point. Buffalo will cover. And they figure a way to win. But I got to take a side. And like I said, I really haven't. I think I put like $15, $20 on Buffalo when it went to 2.5 because you're buying the number at that point. You're not buying the teams. But the one thing I wanted to say here, if I could find my notes, I teased it. I think the tease is the way to go. You take Buffalo to 7.5, and you bring the over down to 42.5. I think there'll be some points, and you just want to make sure if the running game's in play, and for some reason they don't score a lot. And again, I always say there's some games. This game could go overtime. I mean, it's a point and a half game, but I'll go out on a limb. You guys can criticize me. Buffalo's been hot. Maybe it's their time. They had that loss with 13 seconds. I'll go out on a limb and take Buffalo. Very well, Kansas City could win. They're at home. They got the league and the rest behind them, but we'll see. And hopefully it'll be Buffalo and the Eagles. And again, Washington can beat them. But again, you do these things. And again, and to get back where people get on it, this is a hobby. I've been watching the NFL since 1960, and I was 7 years old. So spent a lot of time during the week doing this. You don't have to take my advice. I mean, like I said, this is a hobby. I do it for fun. I don't charge anything. I just like doing it. I've been analyzing games for many, many decades, longer than a lot of you kids that are watching this were alive. So I started watching football when the old AFL started with the 10 teams before their merger in 1960. 7 years old, my uncle used to come upstairs. They didn't have a TV. We had a black and white TV. I didn't get a color TV in 1970, but that's not here and there. You guys got it easy today. We had like 3 channels back then. But I digress. Good luck. That's what I'm calling. We will see you here. Take a week off and get close to the Super Bowl. Give my Super Bowl analysis. And thanks. Good luck.